Now, everybody who's watching, let's get RBT to 500,000 subscribers by Christmas. He's the best Madden scientist there is. I subscribe to him, and if you don't subscribe to, your favorite team is going to lose to the I'm not saying that team.
Would you look who it is? It's Mr. Little Wiener. As today, back with some more Madden science, as this experiment is extremely interesting, as we are going to see what the NFL would look like and how different the NFL would be if every NFL player stayed with the team that drafted them. If there was a rule in the NFL that once you got drafted by a team, you couldn't go anywhere. And today, we're going to see what that world would look like. Now, what I am planning to do for today's video, we're going to simulate 3 seasons and see how different the NFL landscape would look this year, next year, and one more year down the line if every NFL player stayed with their original team. Now, I do have to say, I'm not the only scientist that put in work in conducting today's experiment. This was actually a video kind of made by a subscriber. He commented on one of my videos. I tell you guys to always leave your suggestions for videos for your idea to be made into a video, and here you freaking go. This man actually went out of his way to make this roster for a chance for me to make a video on, and I love the idea. Mr. Collinator 12345 said, "Hey RBT, I made a roster where every player is on their drafted teams. It's called Original Teams under the user Collinator123. And anybody out there can go and download this roster if you're on Xbox. It's on the Xbox, like roster shares, so you can use this roster if you want to, if you think it's interesting. And I want you guys, if you're on Xbox, I want you all to message Collinator123, and I want you to simply say, hey, you're a good guy." It says he said he took him like 10 hours to make these rosters. And you guys don't understand, these scientific experiment videos I'm at, in terms of like having to edit a roster, they take hours and hours and hours. It's not just the production of the recording and editing that goes into these videos, a lot more than that. So hopefully you guys do enjoy. Once again, thank you to Mr. Collinator for making today's roster, making this video possible. But guys, with that said, let's see if we can smash 2,000 likes on today's scientific experiment. Make sure to subscribe if you are new and turn on the notification bell if you haven't. And guys, like I said, it's very important that you do subscribe, because if we do hit 400,000 subscribers by Christmas, that Christmas giveaway from last year is going to be up. Last year, we gave away 2 Xbox One X's, 2 PS4 Pros. This year, that will be turned into 3 Xbox One X's, 3 PS4 Pros if we do make it to 400K by Christmas. And once again, make sure to leave your suggestions for future experiments in the comment section below for a chance to be like Colin. His idea was made into a video, and here we are today, dudes. Now, with that said, first bit of business, what we are going to do is kind of just go over a few of the rosters, a few of the top players that are back to their original team, not on their current team, with their original team. It's just like so many players have moved teams. First of all, Khalil Mack back with the Raiders, no longer on the Bears. Other players, we have guys like Mr. Jalen Ramsey still in the Jaguars. He actually just got traded in real life, back on the Jags now. He can't leave Jacksonville. Odell back with the Giants. Other players consist of Antonio Brown back on the Steelers. You have guys like Earl Thomas back on the Seahawks. Stephon Gilmore back on the Bills. Phillip Rivers on the Giants, and that's an interesting one. A lot of you probably don't even know this, but yeah, Phillip Rivers was actually drafted by the Giants, as Eli Manning was actually drafted by the Chargers, and that was some craziness that happened a long time ago, because they're both old men. But in today's video, they're back with their original team. And as we see, Rodney Hudson, I didn't even know he played for the Chiefs. Andrew Worth, I didn't even know he played for the freaking Bengals. As Drew Brees on the Chargers. So much craziness. Delaney Walker back on the 49ers. As we'll just kind of scroll through so you guys can see some of the big names that are back on their original teams. A lot of guys you probably didn't even realize that have been traded or have been signed elsewhere. And it's just going to be interesting to see how different the NFL does look in today's video. So with that said, my dudes, it is now time simulating to the end of this first season. And oh yeah, he told me to use the Colts, because the Colts have an awful quarterback. The team's still 79 overall, but Philip Walker is our starting quarterback at a 56 overall. And obviously, Andrew Luck no longer plays in the NFL. So, dudes, time to simulate to the end of season number 1. Let me know your prediction in the comment section below for what team will ball out in year 1 and win the Super Bowl if all the NFL players had to go back to their original drafted team. So at the end of year number 1, doesn't look like the Colts with Philip Walker make the playoffs, as the team is up to an 81 overall, and they went 5-11. Houston Texans win the division at 9-6. Jaguars at 7-9. Titans at 6-10. Now, who had the best record in the league? This goes to, it looks like the servers are extremely slow right now. The Saints at 13-3, even without Drew Brees. And I don't even know who's going to be their starting quarterback. Steelers with Big Ben at 13-3. Bills at 13-3 as well. Ravens at 11-4. Packers 11-5. Giants with a huge year at 11-5 with Phillip Rivers as their starter. Falcons at 10-5. Cowboys at 10-6. Broncos at 10-6. As like I said, I don't even know some of the quarterbacks that are starting for some of these teams. Texans made the playoffs. Seahawks make the playoffs, as obviously they still have Russell Wilson. Titans, we're the Patriots. The Patriots, even though they drafted a lot of their players, I mean, obviously, most importantly, Tom Brady, they went 6-10 on the year. Huge drop-off. Same thing with the Rams, as the Vikings at 3-13, and the Raiders with the worst record in the league at 2-13-1. So essentially what this kind of shows you is what teams draft the best, because every team is compiled of players that these teams specifically drafted. So if that's the case, it looks like the Saints, Steelers, and Bills all are incredible at drafting players, and the worst team in terms of drafting players is the Raiders, Vikings, and Redskins. They obviously, I mean, since these teams are compiled of draft picks, are obviously not that great at drafting players. Now let's see who ended up winning the NFL MVP. This goes to Le'Veon Bell, who's obviously back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh Allen in second, Mariota in third, Russell Wilson in fourth, Jacoby Brissett with the Saints. He wasn't drafted by the Saints, so I'm assuming a trade happened here. But anyways, Matt Ryan 6th, Carson 7th, Zeke 8th, Mitch Trubisky at 9th, and Drew Brees on the Chargers in 10th. Now, Coach of the Year ends up going to, Jesus Christ, these servers are so goddamn laggy, Sean McDermott with the Buffalo Bills. Now let's look at these Offensive Rookie of the Year, and the AFC goes to, oh my god, that's stupid. So the problem here is that Madden roster creation is so stupid. So if he wanted to trade Josh Gordon back to the Browns when making a roster, he couldn't because he's injured in real life. Why can he not trade a player that's injured in real life in an offline roster? Don't ask me. So what he had to do for players like that are currently injured in real life, had to create them. So obviously that messes up the Rookie of the Year type things, but hopefully you guys understand that. Now the Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Devin Bush. The NFC ends up going to Jelani Tavai, and on offense, Kyler Murray. Now really quick, checking out some of the statistics. Matt Ryan led the league, 4,600 passing yards. Josh Allen balled out this year. Now in terms of touchdowns, Carson Wentz led the league with 40 interceptions. Blake Bortles led the league, of course. He's the Jaguars starting quarterback with 18. Now running the football, Le'Veon Bell led the league with 1,800 yards and 19 touchdowns, which is mental. And catching the football, Julio Jones led the league, which makes sense, you know, because his quarterback led the league in passing yards. And last but not least, defensively, Bobby Wagner led the league with 133 total tackles. Corey Littleton with 131. And we had Mr. Myles Garrett lead the league with 19 sacks on the year. Now time to find out the eventual Super Bowl champion. So Super Bowl 54, not that different from what might actually happen in real life. We have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And who's going to win the first Super Bowl in today's experiment is going to end up being... God, the servers are so laggy. Jesus, Madden is such a trash can of a game. The Seahawks, 27-14. With that said, time to simulate all the way into the end of season number 2, which with how bad the servers are, might be in about 45 minutes my time. Now the end of season number 2. Now keep in mind, between the off seasons, some players might have been signed by other teams. I can't control that, but let's see how it looks at the end of year number 2. Teams at an 80 overall. We once again came in dead last in the AFC South. The Titans and Texans tied for the division lead at 10-6. Hold on. I just saw something and I am confused. Did Tom Brady actually sign with the Jets? I'm about to lose my goddamn mind. Tom Brady signed with the Jets. What the heck, dude? Like, what a funny coincidence. In a video that's all about players staying with their original teams that they were drafted by. In the one offseason, Tom Brady, one of the players that's literally in real life stuck with the Patriots his entire career, is built a legacy like none other, and he signs with the rival Jets in one offseason. So that just, I found that to be a little funny. But first thing we do have to look is the rest of the standings. Looks like the Browns are 14-2. They've been drafting pretty good apparently. Chiefs a big year, 12-4. Panthers, Falcons, Jets, Titans, Niners, Texans, Steelers, Seahawks all make the playoffs. Worst record, Bears somehow at 7-8-1 make the playoffs. The worst record in the league ends up going to the Bengals at 4-12. Actually, the Bengals, Cowboys, and Dolphins all went 4-12. But looking at the statistics, see who won the MVP in year number 2. Imagine Tom Brady won the MVP with the Jets. That would be funny. No, it's Baker Mayfield at 14-2. Pat Mahomes in second. Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Marcus Mariota. I mean, I wish as a Titans fan he'd be like this in real life. Like, it would just be nice, you know. Connor Abrams, a drafted player. Obviously, in this season and next season, you'll see some drafted players. Lamar Jackson, 7th. Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, and Saquon in 10th. Matt Ryan again led the league, 4,600 passing yards. In terms of passing touchdowns, Baker Mayfield threw 42. Tom Brady with the Jets threw 37. Any other crazy ones here? Jameis Winston, 32 touchdowns. Dak Prescott now on the 49ers. I don't know how that happened. 32 touchdowns. You had Jacoby Brissett now taking over. I guess Drew Brees probably retired. Now in terms of running the football, Le'Veon Bell again led the league. But Saquon Barkley, dude, 22 touchdowns on the ground. And did he even come to the top 10 in the MVP race? Once again, Julio Jones leading the league in yardage and receiving touchdowns. Saquon Barkley with 22 touchdowns. Came in 10th. Like, that's ridiculous. And wow, dudes, it's actually gonna be a New York matchup. New York Jets. Actually, it's New Jersey matchup, but you get what I'm saying. The Jets and the Giants. How the heck did we get here? And keep in mind, though, it's freaking goddamn Tom Brady as the quarterback with the Jets. Now, is Philip Rivers still with the Giants here? They have Saquon, who had an incredible season. Quarterback for the Giants, still Philip Rivers. So Philip Rivers and Tom Brady, who is going to win the Super Bowl? If Tom Brady wins Super Bowl with the Jets, dude, he's automatically, unanimously, the GOAT. And, just falls to the Giants, 31-27. Tom Brady, once again, his kryptonite is the Giants, but I guess it was a great enough feat for him bringing the freaking Jets to the Super Bowl. But with that said, Giants win Super Bowl 55, 31-27. Time to sim to the end of today's third and final season. End of the third and final season. Texans win the division at 10-6. Poor Colts never had a winning season in today's experiment. Now, best record in the league in year number 3 goes to the Browns again. So the Browns apparently, obviously, had a really good core of drafted players. They had the best record for 2 consecutive seasons. The Cowboys, a big turnaround from one of the worst records in the league, one of the best records in the league. Ravens make the playoffs. Chiefs, Chargers, Niners, Texans, Rams, Patriots all make the playoffs. Patriots make the playoffs even without Tom Brady. I'm curious to see if Tom Brady's actually playing another year with the Jets. Dolphins, a decent year, but didn't make the playoffs at 10-6. Wow, what a freaking division, dude. Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins all go 10-6 on the year. And the Bills, who had one of the best record or tied for the best record in year number 1, obviously didn't do good in year number 3. Actually had one of the worst records in the league, but probably because their freaking division was so good. But anyways, worst record in the league in year number 3 goes to the Raiders, who had the worst record in the league 2 out of 3 years. So obviously, they don't draft too good. Broncos down there as well, as is the Lions. Kareem freaking Hunt. That's not what I expected on the New York Jets. And we saw Saquon. If Saquon didn't win the MVP with 22 rushing touchdowns, what the heck did Kareem Hunt do in this third year? Lamar in second, Pat Mahomes in third, Baker in fourth, Russell in fifth, Alvin Kamara, Connor Abrams in ninth, and Andy Dalton still playing, and he comes in 10th place. Now, looking at these final statistics from this final season, I'm once again curious to see what the heck Kareem Hunt did. Jimmy G on the Patriots led the squad with 4,444 yards through the air. Let's see. Aaron Rodgers still playing. Jacoby Brissett still with the Chargers. We have Mariota still on the Titans. Daniel Jones now taking over for Philip Rivers, who I'm guessing retired. Sam Darnold was now the starter for the Jets. They're running the football. Kareem Hunt, like, I don't understand. Like, he had a couple hundred extra yards, but 5 less touchdowns. And does that warrant 5 less touchdowns and just a few extra 100 yards warrant a guy going from 10th to 1st in the MVP race? I don't know. Le'Veon still another great year. 15 touchdowns, 1,700 yards. Looks like Saquon had a pretty big drop-off this year. Now catching the football, looks like Tyler Boyd this year had 1,400 yards, led the league with 12 touchdowns and receiving yards. And last but not least, defensively, Deion Jones led the league with 130 total tackles, and Aaron Donald with 22 sacks on the year, and J.J. Watt with 17. Now, time to see who the heck is going to be the final Super Bowl matchup in today's video. Saints and Patriots can Wiener says to subscribe.